Yeah, our constant short-term goal for the year is to make sure that we're better than yesterday. That's the main message that the guys have pushed across from day one coming out in the spring. And we've talked about that at the early portion of our season of just every day we want to be a little bit better, and every game we want to be a little bit better. So felt like we had some strong points against Bellarmine in our last showing there, and then looking to make some improvements in our transition game and of course in our settled offense and defense as well. So
I just take it game by game and try to do the best I can do. All of our polls are really good at causing turnovers, so it's just worked out that way for sure. We only lost, I think, one guy on defense, so it's been huge. We've had 2 years now playing together, so works in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're veteran down there now. We're in the last couple of years, we've had some young guys that have stepped into key roles, and as you mentioned, now we have some guys that are returning that have chemistry together. And of course, with Hager, he had a lot of time in the cage for us last year, splitting with Matt Bukovac, and now it's been his show, and he certainly stepped up to the plate as far as taking over that role. And they certainly do have that gel and chemistry together, just returning from last year and having a lot of the same guys in those spots for us. Well, I mean, overall, we're expecting a good opponent. I mean, they're a team that went through a coaching change recently, and they've really stepped up in their culture, I believe, and the way that they go about the game. And this year we've had 2 games to be able to see them play against Bryant and Wagner as well. So we expect to have a very up-tempo type of game. They push a lot of aggressive offense, as we do. That's been something that certainly showed up in their first 2 outings. And we talked to the guys about just playing a very exciting brand of lacrosse this weekend, and taking the pace in our hands and really trying to dictate the tempo and play the game at the speed that we like to play it at.
Looking forward to Manhattan. We have scout on them from this season, so I think we're a little more prepared this game than we were for the last one. We're looking to see a fast-paced game. They like to get up and down like we do, so it should work right into our favor.
The point spread was very, I mean, just on page with what we want this year. I mean, we've talked a lot about how we had guys that, were role players for us in the past that, weren't obviously returners for us this year, and guys that we graduated that were doing a lot for us on offense last year. And, it's been interesting just to see how many guys have been capable of stepping up and taking over a major role within our offense. But week to week, I mean, we have a pretty large number of guys that are capable of producing for us. And again, that way, if somebody's not necessarily bringing their best, we know that we have another guy that's really stepping up and that's going to put the ball in the back of the net for us. But it's our brand this year, and really a big part of our identity to have as many guys in the mix as we possibly can, because we have that depth this year.
I think offensively it's been huge. Last year we only had a few guys contributing, where this year we have a huge group of guys contributing. We have like 9 or 10, so it makes it harder for teams to match up against us.
Adrian returned after the last 2 years being in our starting lineup for a number of games, and it was his 3rd year here. He's probably at his healthiest point that he's ever been. He's battled some injuries in the past that he had to unfortunately have a few surgeries that he's dealt with, and he's never really been at 100% from a physical health standpoint. And this year he's really close to getting back to where he needs to be, and I think that's just going to continually show in the production that he puts forth on the field each week. Because again, he was doing some pretty impressive things in the past when he certainly wasn't at full health. So just excited to have him at the spot that he's at now and really see what he's truly capable of. Yeah, I mean, we pride ourselves in being able to deal with outside factors and really just staying consistent regardless of situations changing around us. I mean, whether it's home or away, or whether it's a conference game or a non-conference game, and we really push across that the game's still played the same way for 60 minutes. So it doesn't really matter the outside factors that are thrown in. I mean, by the time we settle in and we get ready for that first whistle, it's going to be just like we're playing at home. And again, we just talk about how all the games we're going to approach very similarly to get a consistent performance. And that way, every time when the game gets played, we know we're gonna focus on ourselves and what we need to do to be successful.